Hey guys, Sukesh here. This is the third, that is the final episode of the awesome tips and tricks video series on the all new OnePlus 5T. Thanks a lot guys for liking this video series. OnePlus 5T is by far one of the best value for money devices, and not only on the hardware department but also in software. This phone amazed me. The purpose of this video series is to pinpoint those amazing hidden features step by step in a colloquial manner. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Now the first thing I want to talk about is how you can assign some shortcuts to your navigation buttons. For example, I have assigned Google Assistant for home button long press action. I'm sure you know what is Google Assistant. In addition to that, if you double tap the home button, you can launch voice search as well. You can say different things or ask for different actions. For example, let's say, what's the weather today?
Today's forecast for Kolkata is 27 degrees and sunny.
Now the thing is, if you close voice search by clicking on the home button, it doesn't really close, so click on the back icon and you can now open voice search once again and give any command. What's 239 plus 169?
The answer is 408.
You can of course call a person or open any application. Now with the recents key, you can turn off the screen just by double tapping. It's so nice because it's a touch screen display and it doesn't really make sense to press a hard key, that is the power key. On the first episode of this video series, I have shown you how to unlock your device with just a double tap on the screen. Now turn off by double tapping the recents or the multitasking key. I'm telling you guys, it's much more convenient and you will love it. On the other hand, if you tap and hold the recents key, the screen is split into two so that you can multitask. You can run two apps side by side, and since you have got 6 gig or 8 gig of RAM on your OnePlus 5T, multitasking is a piece of cake. You can open any of your recent supported applications and also resize the windows. Now there is an awesome trick I have for you guys. When a YouTube video is playing, if you click on the home button, the windows minimizes but still the video sound is audible, that is you can play YouTube videos in the background. The icon of the recents key is changed to the multi-window icon, and if you click here you get your dual windows back. So this is how you can play YouTube without video, and you can enjoy music videos just like that. If you launch a multi-window supported app, it will open in the dual window with the YouTube player. Now you can close any of these applications by swiping the divider to the top or bottom. The recents key is now back, so it's indeed an awesome feature. Next we have the back key, and I have assigned open menu action for long press. So no need to reach out for the top right corner for the menu option, just tap and hold the back key. Now I have not assigned any function for double tapping of the back key because when you are closing any application, you are most probably clicking the back key twice or thrice. But if you wish, you can assign the notification panel to come down if you double tap the back key. Now let me show you how you can assign these functions to your navigation buttons. Just go to your settings menu, and under button settings you get all these options. These are the functions or actions you can assign to your soft keys. Next, I want to show you how you can lock your sensitive applications without the help of any third-party app locker. There is an inbuilt option for that, which is more secure and ad-free, and of course you cannot uninstall the app locker, so it's much more reliable. Just go to your security and lock settings, and there you will find the app locker. Put your phone's unlocking pattern and add the apps you want to lock with the password. So now before you lend your phone to your friends, you can lock your sensitive apps like Facebook, Twitter, your Gmail account, and you can also hide notification contents. The good news is you can also unlock your apps using biometrics like your fingerprint sensor. Now if you lose your OnePlus 5T, you can track down the device and also erase your sensitive data. Go to your security and lock screen settings, device administrators, and allow this option. When you activate this using Google Play services, you can erase your data and also change the screen lock and also lock the screen so that your device cannot be misused. Now I want to show you a native Android feature called screen pinning. When it's active, you will see this pin icon on your recent application. If you click here, the screen will be pinned to your device. That is, you can only access this application but not any other app, or you cannot close this app. So once again, if you are lending this phone to your friend for a call or for a game, just pin the game or the app to the screen so that he or she cannot close the app and access any of your other applications and files. To unpin the screen, just tap and hold the back and the app switcher for a while, and now the phone is back to the lock screen. You need to input your device password to access the device once again. So to enable screen pinning, go to your security and lock screen settings, scroll down to screen pinning, enable both these options. If you don't enable the second option, then if the person using the device knows how to unpin a software, then he or she can invade your privacy. Next, I have some awesome tips and tricks for the camera of your OnePlus 5T. The secondary camera on your 5T is actually different from a typical device. It's not a telephoto lens, so there is no more 2x, or I should say 1.6x optical zoom unlike its predecessor, but it helps in low light photography. If the lighting condition is below 10 lux, then the secondary camera triggers, and this 20 megapixel sensor uses a technique OnePlus calls intelligent pixel technology that combines the data from 4 pixels into one, so eventually you are getting a 5 megapixel image which is upscaled back to 20 megapixel. So this is how OnePlus 5T captures much better low light images. Now let me give you a demo. Let's cover the secondary camera and dim the ambient lighting. Still the primary camera is in action. It needs to be less than 10 lux. There you go, the secondary camera is now active. I'm covering the lens up and I'm now moving my finger over the lens, and you can see that. So the secondary camera is working only when the lighting condition is really poor, but if you increase the light, then the phone switches back to the primary camera. So this is how it works. In addition to that, the secondary camera also helps in portrait images. It captures the depth information and the primary camera captures the image, so you get nice bokeh. And also the secondary camera helps in autofocusing when you are using the primary camera and vice versa. So it's like dual pixel autofocus, but you have two separate lenses active for faster autofocus. Now there are some shorthand tricks you should know, like if you double tap on the viewfinder, you can switch the cameras, and if you single tap on the screen, you can change the exposure, that is the brightness of the images, just like that. Just swipe on the vertical bar up and down to increase the brightness of the images you capture. Also, tapping on the viewfinder autofocuses to that area you have tapped, but after a while the camera refocuses, that is, it's in autofocus mode. If you want to lock the autofocus and auto exposure, you have to tap and hold on the viewfinder. Now the camera is fixed focused, it's focused at this thermometer, and the exposure is also not changing. Now there is a very important tip for you guys. In video mode, as you know, the camera zooms in with much less wide field of view, and it's quite inconvenient for subjects that is close to the lens. Right now the video resolution is set to 4K, and if I switch to 1080p, there is no change in field of view. If I switch to 720p, again no change, but there is an option of 1080p at 60 fps, and as you can see, it's much wider. So I really prefer 1080p at 60 fps more than 4K because it's wider, and 60 fps videos look creamy, smooth, and much more interesting. Now along with photos and videos, you have this depth effect. As you know, with the help of the secondary camera, the phone captures really shallow depth of field images, which looks really cool, especially portraits with background blur or bokeh, just like DSLR cameras. Next, I have some nice tricks for the messaging application as well. In the keyboard, you have some symbols, that is super scripted to the letters. So if you want to apply them, just tap and hold on the letter and there you go. No need to switch to the symbols keyboard. This is how you can save your time and effort. To enable this, go to your keyboard settings, G keyboard settings, and then preferences. Scroll down to long press to symbols, enable this option. Now to switch the language of your keyboard, you can tap and hold on the spacebar and there is an option called English, that is, you can write Hindi in English alphabet. You have to download or enable this language, of course. Let me give you a demo. Now you must be aware of glide typing. If you want to delete a sentence word by word, you can just swipe left from the delete key on your keyboard. If the keyboard is too big for you to handle with one hand, you can shrink the keyboard to a smaller version which is more ergonomic for one-handed usage. You can now reach every part of the keyboard with your thumb. Well, you can also even move the keyboard to your right or left as you wish. So indeed a very handy feature. If you have too many unread messages, no need to click one by one to mark them all read. You can just click here to clear your unread messages. Next, go to your settings menu and scroll down to users. Here you can add multiple users for this device. So if your children or any other person uses your phone, then you can either turn on the guest mode with limited functionality, or you can add a new user with its own space without interfering your personal data, your files, your photos, videos, and your apps and games. You can add users even when the device is locked and there is emergency information you can put, which might be quite useful in case of emergency. So here on the lock screen, if I swipe up to unlock, there is an option called emergency and you can access the emergency information without unlocking the device. Just tap again and check. Guys, we are almost at the end of this video series. There is a battery saver on your OnePlus 5T and you can turn this on automatically when the battery level is at 5% or 15%. So do this in case your battery is dying. Well, that's all I have for you guys. I hope that you have liked all these 3 episodes of tips and tricks on this amazing OnePlus 5T. In the disguise of stock Android UI, you have lots of software features which makes the phone really very useful in day-to-day life usage. I have tried my best to explain all these features step by step as simply as possible. Hopefully you have found my effort useful. If so, then please consider subscribing to this channel. This is Sukesh signing off. Have a nice day, guys.